Now let's talk about how to know he hasn't replaced you yet, because sometimes you feel it. Once a man has connected with a woman who met him on multiple levels, the mind, the emotion, the soul, the body, he can't simply replace that. You see, men don't forget the woman who made them feel seen. They forget the ones who only try to please them. The moment that you realize that you are the experience that marked him, not just the woman he dated, you shifted. You stand taller. You reclaimed yourself. Because when a woman truly embodies her worth, she doesn't worry about being replaced. Do you get what I'm saying? She becomes the one they remember, the one who awakens something real. That's why sometimes, long after you're gone, he starts doing things he once resisted, like speaking softer, listening better, even loving differently, because your presence rewired him. The moment you stop trying to be remembered, you become unforgettable, because your energy is no longer tied to needing to be seen. It simply is. It carries itself. Ladies, you know, there is something every woman needs to understand. Listen, a man who truly has felt your energy, your presence, your essence, and all of that good stuff cannot simply replace you. No matter what he says, no matter what kind of woman he meets, no matter the distractions around him, he cannot replicate the depth, the connection, and the energy that only you can bring. Your authenticity, your confidence, your soul presence, these are things that cannot be duplicated. It cannot be imitated or replaced. And this is not about ego, it's about truth. Men may try to convince themselves, and they may even convince others that someone else can take your place, right? But the reality is, your combination of energy, your presence, and influence is uniquely yours. See, people always talk about how quickly men move on, how easily they seem to replace a woman, start afresh, act like nothing happened. But what most people don't understand is this: replacement and forgetting are not the same thing. A man can distract himself, but he can't just erase an energy that marked him. Because when a woman leaves a deep imprint, not just on his body, but on his mind, his emotion, his spirit, she's become a memory that lingers. She has imprinted herself. See, when you've touched a man on a soul level, you don't have to fight for relevance. Nah, because you live rent free. You live rent free in the spaces between his thoughts. He might try to convince himself he's over it, right? But he will keep feeling that pull, the pull that reminds him of what used to feel like home. And that is why he can't just replace you. See, a man can meet new women. He can explore, right? He can laugh, flirt, even find comfort in someone else's arm. But when he's alone, when it's quiet, when there is no noise, when he's left with his own thought, that's when he feels your absence the most. Because deep connection don't vanish. They echo, they stay in the texture of his memory, in the tone of his voice when he tries to sound unbothered. So what truly makes a woman irreplaceable isn't about beauty or perfection. It's energy. That's why you need to work on your energy. It's that blend of softness and strength, that peace, the peace that she brings even when she's silent. It's how she knew how to love him in ways that he didn't know he needed. It's how she made him feel safe enough to be himself without trying too hard. You see, men don't forget the woman who made them feel seen. They forget the ones who only try to please them. And here is a secret most people miss. When a woman leaves a lasting mark, it's not because she did too much. No. It's because she was real. She wasn't performing. She wasn't acting. She wasn't a second fiddle of herself. She wasn't trying to be like any other person. She wasn't begging to be loved. She simply embodied her essence. And her essence was unforgettable. That's the kind of presence that make him measure every woman who comes after you against a standard he didn't even know existed until you showed up. Now let's talk about how to know he hasn't replaced you yet, because sometimes you feel it before you see it. See, when a man hasn't replaced you, you will sense it in his inconsistency. He tries to prove he's fine, but his action tells another story entirely. His silence is loud, but his distraction don't last. It's in the little things, the way he suddenly plays a song you once loved, the way he remembers your words, your tone, the things that you once said that he brushed off, but now he finds himself thinking about it. That's not coincidence. That's residue. And no matter how far he runs, he will keep encountering, the fragments of you, because once a man has connected with a woman who met him on multiple levels, the mind, the emotion, the soul, the body, he can't simply replace that. But here's the thing, right? When you realize that he hasn't replaced you, don't turn it into a mission. Don't chase the confirmation. Don't just try to rekindle the flame out of pride or fear. The power is in stillness. When you know the connection is still alive in him, your silence becomes huge, louder. You don't need to prove your relevance. You just embody it. You let your absence speak louder than your presence could ever. And that makes a lot of impact than you chasing. See, when you're calm, when you stay grounded in your energy, that's when he feels the contrast, because your peace becomes the loudest sound in his world of noise. All I'm trying to say in essence is that the less you react, the more he feels. The more you hold your ground, the more his memory replays moments that you probably forgot. That's the power of a woman who knows she's unforgettable. She doesn't chase validation. She simply lives like someone who has already been chosen by herself, not by anyone else. And that's what makes you irreplaceable. Babe, listen, your awareness, the way you carry yourself with quiet confidence, knowing full well that your value doesn't decrease because someone couldn't hold it, is what makes you irreplaceable. You just know that his inability to replace you isn't something to boast about. It's simply a reflection of truth. Because when energy is real, it can't be replicated. See, a man doesn't fail to replace you because he can't find someone else. Don't get it all twisted, right? He fails because he can't recreate the experience you gave to him. He can't recreate how you made him feel safe yet excited. He can't recreate how you made love to him. He can't recreate how you pampered him. He can't recreate how you loved him without measure. He can't recreate your balance of mystery and comfort. He can't recreate how you knew what to say and when to say nothing. He just can't recreate your rhythm, because your rhythm was natural. It wasn't rehearsed. So even if he finds someone new, there will always be a comparison happening quietly in his mind without him even knowing. He might never even say it out loud, but he feels it. And it's not about competition, it's about connection. You represent something that awakens something in him. You became a mirror, showing him sides of himself he didn't know existed. And that kind of awakening doesn't vanish, it just lingers. That's why he just can't replace you. When you understand this, see, you will stop seeing your story as a loss. You will start seeing it as a transformation, because you didn't just leave a mark on him. You also revealed things about you. He taught you how deeply you could feel, how much you could love, how strong your boundaries can be. That's the alchemy of real connection. A lot of people don't understand what real connection is because they're superficial, they're fickle-minded. What I'm talking about right here is deep connection. I don't do superficial. And that's why it will take me a long period of time to find someone who I connect with on a soul level. I don't fall in love. I don't jump into relationships. I don't. See, I can break out of a relationship and it will take me years to get into another relationship, except I find someone that I connect with on a deeper level. So it's a lot easier for me to spend a long period of time alone. I don't do rebound because what I give, what I pour out is soulful. It is not, and sometimes it's scary for some men, because I don't love superficially. I love deeply on a soul level. The kind of love that I give is the kind of love that nurtures. It is healthy. So for someone who is not whole, that would drain that person. I'm not saying that I would suffocate you, right? Because I love my space. I love my space. But when it comes to love, it is old-fashioned. It is deep. It is intense. It is soulful. Even love making is soulful. It's deep. It's, That's connection, where both of you leave changed. Even if both of you never come back together, your lives are changed together, altogether. So now, instead of asking, does he still think of me? Start asking, what part of me did this connection awaken that I need to protect and nurture? Because that's where your real power lies. You can't control whether he replaces you or not, but you can control how deeply you remain rooted in the energy that made you unforgettable in the first place. And finally, I need you to remember this. You are not unforgettable because you tried hard to be, all right? You are unforgettable because you were authentic, because you didn't perform, because you were real. You were real in a world where most people are busy wearing masks. You gave him something rare. You gave him energy that couldn't be faked. You gave him softness that didn't come from weakness, and presence that made him feel seen in ways that he didn't even know he needed. That's what makes a woman irreplaceable. It's not looks, it's not sex, it's not perfection, it's depth. It's how your energy lingered in his spirit long after you left. It's how certain songs or smell or scent or night reminds him of your laughter, your tone, your jokes, your inside jokes, your silence. That's what he can't replace, because he might meet others, but he won't find you. It's how you made love to him that made meaning. See, a man can move on physically, but emotionally, energetically, that takes longer now. And it's not because he's obsessed. It's because your frequency stayed imprinted in him. And when you have touched a man beyond surface level, you become a mirror to the part of himself he didn't even know existed. And once a man meets himself through you, he can't unsee that. Impossible. He can't just replace it. So instead of asking, will he come back? Remind yourself, he never really left, because somewhere inside him, a piece of you still lives, not as a ghost, but as a reminder of what real connection feels like. The real power, my love, is realizing you no longer are waiting for that validation. The moment that you realize that you are the experience that marked him, not just the woman he dated, you shifted. You stand taller. You reclaimed yourself. Because when a woman truly embodies her worth, she doesn't worry about being replaced. Do you get what I'm saying? She becomes the one They remember, the one who awakens something real. And that kind of energy, my love, doesn't fade. It keeps echoing in the hearts of those who once felt it. You see, when a man tries to replace a woman like you, it's not just about moving on, it's about escaping himself. He's not really trying to replace you. He's trying to silence a part of him that still feels you. Because when you have touched him deeply, your energy becomes a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. They reflect everything he's trying not to face. He might tell himself he's fine. He might post like he's happy, act like he's healed, or even fall into something new to fill the gap. But deep down, my darling, there's always this quiet discomfort or this quiet discontent. Sometimes something just feels off because you weren't just another woman. You represented something specific. You represented something spiritual. You represented something emotional. You represented emotional truth. You reflected back his potential. You reflected his softness, his chaos, his humanity, all at once. And no matter how much he tries to move forward, nothing feels quite the same. That's what replacement really is, an illusion. It's a temporary attempt to bury emotion under novelty. But novelty fades. And when the newness fades, the old memory resurfaces stronger. Because your energy was familiar in a way that can't be duplicated. It's not something another woman can imitate. It's not about cooking. It's not about sex. It's not about looks. It's not about perfection. All right? It's about frequency. It's about the vibration that you carry when you work with him. That's why sometimes, long after you're gone, he starts doing things he once resisted, like speaking softer, listening better, even loving differently, because your presence rewired him in small ways he will never acknowledge out loud. You were a chapter he didn't realize was shaping him in real time. And now, even in your absence, the lessons of you echo. That's why he can't replace you. He can recreate the situation, but not the connection. That's why they keep coming back. And there's something every woman needs to understand. When you have awakened something in a man that he wasn't emotionally ready to sustain, his instinct will be to run, to prove to himself that he doesn't need you. But that running isn't strength, it's resistance. It's his ego trying to restore control. But deep down, emotional connection can feel like, vulnerability to a man who has never experienced safety in intimacy. And that's why he runs. So when he runs, it's not that he's over you. It's that you represented emotional exposure, something he both craved and feared all at the same time. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Because you showed him a version of, connection that was raw, unfiltered, and unguarded. Even if it scared him, he tasted something real. And once a man tastes real connection, everything fake starts to feel empty. You will notice that after you, his energy shifts. He might date someone else, but it won't carry the same depth. He might laugh, but it won't sound as free. He might even look happy on the surface, but somewhere deep down, he will feel the lack of you. He will feel the lack of resonance, because emotional alignment is not something you can manufacture. It's either there or it's not. It's either you have it or you don't have it. And here is a deeper truth. A man can replace your presence, but he can't replace your impact. He can stop texting you. He can stop calling you or even unfollow you, block you. But your energy would remain integrated into his emotional memory. It's in the way he now expects to be spoken to with grace. It's in the way he recognizes every shift in a room. It's in the way he understands, emotional language, because you taught him that through being yourself. That's why if you see married men, they seem like the most tutored men. And that's why you see single women trying to flock towards them, because they've already learned from their wives how to treat a lady right. Do you understand? And the moment he realizes that other women don't bring that same kind of awareness, that same emotional depth, he starts to miss you. Not as a person, but as a feeling. That's when nostalgia begins to blend with, regret, because he will remember the ease of your voice, the way that you made him feel understood without judgment, the way, your silence was never cold, it was just peaceful. That's the type of energy a man can't just replace. And this is also why sometimes he will stay connected to you quietly, still watching you, still listening, still checking your energy from afar. It's not obsession, it's resonance. There's something about your essence that still calls to the part of him that felt safe in your space. But here is a power move, right? A power move that you need to know is that you don't have to do anything about it. Because the moment you realize your energy still lives rent free in his subconscious, you stop seeking proof because you already have the proof. You move like a woman who knows she's already been felt deeply. And that's not pride. That's when the dynamics shift, because now your detachment becomes his awakening. The moment you stop trying to be remembered, you become unforgettable. Because your energy is no longer tied to needing to be seen. It simply is. It carries itself. The women who can't be replaced are not the loudest or the most demanding. They're the ones who know their value doesn't depend on proximity. They don't beg. They don't chase. They don't prove. Prove what? They let time reveal what energy has already been made clear. And that's why, even if he finds someone else, he will always carry traces of you. The cadence of your laughter, the calm of your energy, the weight of your presence, because real connection imprints on the soul, not the schedule. It can fade in conversation, but not in memories. That's why if you're forming connection, it has to be meaningful. So when people say he's moved on, just smile quietly to yourself, because moving on doesn't mean erase, right? You don't have to compete with the present when your energy is already timeless. So how do you know that he hasn't replaced you? Sometimes you don't need a message to know that he hasn't moved on yet. It shows in the way his energy still lingers, right? And lingers near you. It's the small hesitation, the way he pauses before replying, the soft echoes, in his voice when your name slips out. These aren't accidents, they're just emotional traces. Number one, his rhythm changes. He mirrors your mood without meaning to. So when you go quiet, he drifts. When you start shining again, he reappears in subtle ways, like a post, reaching out, asking mutual friends about you. His energy just follows yours because the emotional channel is still open. Number two, his growth carries your finger imprint. You notice that he's speaking more gently, he's choosing better words, he's showing a kind of emotional maturity he resisted before. That's no coincidence, that's influence. You left behind, lessons he's now trying to leave out. Number three, you will notice that he still seeks your validation indirectly, even when he doesn't contact you. He wants you to notice he's doing well. The pose that he makes, the story, the look how I'm thriving moments, they're a silent invitation for you to look. It's not vanity, it's residue. It is residue. Number four, he just keeps revisiting your essence through others. He's drawn to women who reminds him of your calm or your fire. He's trying to recreate what he once felt. But, imitation only amplifies memory. It never erases it. And here is where the shift happens, right? Women, knowing that he hasn't replaced you isn't a cue to step back into his orbit. It is a cue to know your impact. You were a chapter that shaped him. And that means you're also a chapter that shaped you. So I need you to know that your absence teaches louder than your presence ever could. And this is what I mean. When you step back, he finally sees your value without the noise. Your silence becomes the mirror that reveals what your presence once gave, the echo of what your love once felt. Sometimes it's not your presence that wakes him up, it's your absence. Because when you go quiet, the energy that used to comfort him starts to echo in his life. And that silence becomes a teacher. It teaches him what peace really felt like and what he lost when he lost you. Now, another thing that you need to have at the back of your mind, as you stay in your power, is that your energy leaves proof even when words disappear. So if you give authenticity, it will echo in every connection that follows you both. You might not talk anymore, but energy just doesn't need conversation to stay alive. The way you loved him, the softness, the grounding, the calm, that energy leaves proof. It shows up in how he now approaches other people, in how he listens, in the little pieces of you that shaped his growth. And the woman who knows her worth never competes with memory. You don't need to compete with your own memory because the woman who knows her worth understands that she is the memory. She doesn't chase the attention. She doesn't chase his attention. She becomes the standard he unknowingly measures other women against. She becomes the standard, not the chaser. So know this and know peace in the truth that your peace is a new attraction. Why? Because the calmer you stand in your power, the more unforgettable you become. And when you reach a point where you're no longer reactive, begging, or waiting, that emotional balance becomes powerful. It draws him. It's the shift from wanting him to proving you never needed to. All right? See, the most irresistible thing about you now isn't your beauty or your memory. It's your peace. The woman who no longer needs to be chosen becomes the one who's hardest to forget. That calm, the confidence, that quiet glow, that's your new attraction. So breathe. Let time do its quiet work. When something feels real, when something is real, when something real has been felt, it never fully fades. It only transforms. You don't need to wonder if he replaced you. You already know he can't, because what's genuine doesn't end. It evolves. And the woman who embodies it moves forward, shining even brighter. All right? Okay. So this is where we wrap it all up. My name is Jane Lawrence, and I talk about soulful love because I'm a soulful person. Okay? Until I come your way. When I do come your way, do you know that I love you? And God loves you best. I'll see you when I see you. Okay? Ciao.